things planned, but just a quick heads up, if you would like a reading this evening, you can find the directions in the comments and also in the body. I'm going to make sure I pin that message so that in case anyone joins later, because hey, you know what, let's face it, sometimes things do get lost in the mix, right? But quick rundown, if you would like a 10-minute reading, those are a little more in depth. Those are $15, or if you'd like a single card, those are $5, and those are payable via Cash App or Venmo. You must pay first to get in the read queue, and the name for that is smcrigger. And once you send that in, comment paid, and whether you did Venmo or Cash App, I'll take a quick peek, call out your name, and we'll go from there. Single cards are really good, though, in case you would like a yes, no answered. Please make it a very specific yes or no, not a should I do A or should I do B. That is not a yes, no. And if you would like the $15 reading, those are pretty much open for relationship check-in, career advice, spiritual path advice, whichever happens to blow your mind first. And also, a quick heads up, I was originally supposed to be in Zanesville this weekend, Saturday specifically, but due to getting a last minute howdy do and invite, I'm actually going to be over in Hanoverton. The information for all that is on my Facebook. Feel free to go take a quick peek. And also don't forget to follow both here and my Facebook, because while over here I do give all the fun reads and information, on my Facebook is where I mostly post where I'll be, what I'll be doing, and it's also a great way to get a rough idea of where all in Ohio I typically am if you happen to be in the state. But my reads are not limited to just Ohio, obviously, even for private one-on-one sessions, because I know public forums get a little sketch for some people. You can always book a one-on-one, and there's a link in the bio. But to get us started, just a quick heads up. Oh, hi. Flutura? I hope I pronounced that correctly. Thanks for joining. Super happy to have you. Was just about to go over what cards I had for us this evening. There is, of course, the handy-dandy tarot deck. Honestly, you can't have a live tarot session without it, right? There's also my Lenormand. These guys are really great for the more practical questions like career, or if there's anything that you need to worry about specifically in your typical life. I also, because I felt like these guys don't get enough time and attention, I actually have my karma cards. They are essentially a way to look at the, probably a good idea if I turn them the correct way for you guys, right? Spiritual, mental, and physical questions. You get an answer in a beautifully, very straightforward line, and those are great for action or outcome questions. And because they are a 3-part kind of a job, and as you can see, they're a little thin, I do use dice for those. So let's just say that shuffling these would be, I find the readings questionable, so when I was able to get some dice that matches beautifully, it was great. And I also have a technique that I invented that seems to work out very well, and these are great for those of you that aren't quite sure or have never had a reading before. And these are also how I see how you may be spending your energy, whether you may need to be spending other cases where you may be blocking yourself, because let's face it, we are sometimes our own worst enemy. They're my bamboo readings. It's almost a combination of tarot and almost like bone throwing, just a little different. But to get us started, and please feel free to jump in the queue anytime, but I do find that a nudge to give a message. So for the moment, I'm not gonna lie, I've been seeing a huge trend lately in a lot of people being stuck in their fear box. So let's see what many of us can take care of as far as that, because I tell you what, it is actually, okay, it probably shouldn't be amazing, but with how confident I've seen some people, it blows my mind that some of you are actually terrified of going after the things you want in this life. Because, I mean, either way, we're stuck with it, so we might as well find ways to enjoy it, right? Now, as far as how to help us step out of our fear box so that we can actually feel comfortable going after the things we want to do in love. Let's get a little bit more information there. Oh, okay. 2 shakes while I get these cards where they need to be. Gotcha. Alright, so let's turn this view around real quick so that you guys can see the story. And ba-boom. Alright, so right off the get-go, we had a reverse Knight of Cups. And what that's telling me is, for the most part, more than likely, we're actually lying to ourselves and saying that everything is fine and dandy and we're actually totally working towards our happily ever after. But unfortunately, there's a few things that you're kind of not seeing. And the main one is that you need to heal. You guys need to do some crazy healing. You got smacked somewhere along the way, and not in any level of gentle. That's the best word I can describe. Whatever happened here, I want to say it's more than likely attached to a specific person because of our next set of cards, but it definitely looks like something along the way made you think that whatever it is that you're wanting to go after wasn't worth it, and that is just not the case, my dear. So it's time to stop that internal struggle. That whatever words you have on loop that you're struggling to throw into the trash, or unfortunately some of you just let them kind of play over and over again, that internal struggle, that fight with your self-worth, all that self-doubt, you need to finally square with it. The time has come, because once you're able to do that, and the reason why I say that I feel like this pain was caused by a person and the healing is necessary, and the first step in your healing is addressing that internal conflict with yourself, your confidence in yourself, your confidence is going to come back, and your self-doubt is going to finally ease up a little bit, and you're going to feel like you actually can go after those dreams, live those passions, enjoy those hobbies again. Because whatever happened that you started lying to yourself, and I admit, we all have to on occasion, but whatever caused you to start lying to yourself and have all that self-doubt and all that fear, the sooner you heal from it, bury that nasty loop in your head, your confidence is coming back, and it's going to come back strong. And if that helped out anyone, please feel free to put down wands, because once you snatch that energy, because Six of Wands is really all about confidence, celebrating your wins, reminding yourself that you are absolutely fabulous. Things are going to start turning around, and all that fear, all that self-doubt, no longer an issue. Don't believe me? Comment shot. And just a heads up, unless we get busy, I'm only going to be here for another 20 or so minutes. But if we get busy, I'm all too happy to go a full hour with you guys, because, hey, it's always fun. Sorry, I had a weird bzz. Wanted to make sure it wasn't anything important, because just because theoretically people know that I'm doing this right now doesn't necessarily mean that they listen and they still send the Mr. Wizard calls. But I'm thinking next, to kind of flow on from that first reading, we should probably actually check into my karma cards and see how we can get that healing jump started, square away that crazy squirrel in our head that is trying to tell us that we can't, when yes we can. and see if we can't get that first step rocking on and rolling. Now, as I said, with these guys, they're on all about that thin. None of us want to try and shuffle that. I don't care how experienced of a card reader and shuffler you are. That's a pill. So, bless the gods for easy cheats, right? So, as far as an action, what could our first step be in that healing process? Alrighty. Well, this got real interesting real quick. Let me grab the cards out for us, and we will get jumping on our spiritual, mental, and physical action that we need to take. Because our first one is a South Node in Capricorn. In the first house. All right. Now that we're beautifully set up here, and hey, if you ever need to take a screenshot for anything, just say, hey, slow down real quick. But I do try to make it so that we see all the cards at the same time so you guys can take any screenshots you may need to. But turning the camera around. All right, so as I said, we have the South Node in Capricorn in the first house. And so you guys can get a bigger view of that. My goodness. We had to go a little far out, didn't we? Now, as far as what all that means, because, hey, let's face it, great to know the cards, but what does it mean? So, the first step is spiritually. Remember, immediately. So, quite literally, do you remember why those words hurt you? Why you felt like you couldn't achieve really anything at this point? What were those goals that you decided to give up on? Mentally, the day-to-day reality of the way you project yourself. Honestly, that whole fake it till you make it thing, it's not necessarily a bad plan. So if you know that you lack confidence, if you know that you are always terrified of saying the wrong words, it's time to kind of reconsider that reality. Are you drawing your own demise by thinking that way? It's very possible. And physically, now is not the time to use the most businesslike way and do it on your own. So what that is saying is the whole idea of doing this without letting your emotions be a factor, not going to work out, my friend. It's going to just, you need to feel the feels. I am sorry to tell you. I know it sucks. No one likes to feel the feels. Nobody. But unfortunately, your emotions are at play here, so they need to be recognized. And for all of everything holy, you got to do it alone. Unfortunately, this is one case where your buddies cannot help you. It is really just one of those things that you need to know that you did this. You need to know that you are the one that took the steps to start feeling better again. Once you take those first few steps, definitely get a buddy system. Because an accountability buddy for our feels, after we start making those first solid steps, helps us make sure we don't move backward. And backward is the last place that we want to go. So while it sucks that we have to do the first bit on our own, I will always, always recommend, once you got a solid foundation, get help. Get an accountability buddy that's going to say, hey, I see you starting to do the thing that you do whenever you start feeling bad about yourself. Knock it off. What happened? And honestly, even your spirit guides are wonderful helps. And I don't think they count as far as sneaking those guys in a little early to start that healing process. And just a quick heads up, I'm only going to be on for another 15 minutes, so if anybody would like to get in the queue, definitely recommend sooner rather than later, because nothing's more awkward than having someone want a 10-minute reading and it's only 6 minutes left. That's awkward. Awkward, awkward. Oh, and if you're one of those that loves watching the replays and you have a few ideas of some collective reads that you would like in the future, definitely drop them in the comments. I love to see them, and more importantly, while I get an idea from my area of all the things that you guys are worried about, what's going on in your head, what's going on in your lives, sometimes knowing what's really needed to be answered, because let's face it, I get so many messages all day, every day. Sometimes you gotta filter out some and make sure that you're only focusing on what's, especially with the ADD. Actually, just for giggles, kind of getting a feel that we definitely need to do a bit of a specific read, but I'm not sure on who's needing this. It's going to be with the bamboo sticks. So I'm going to ask my tarot what the situation is, reading or the person. I don't typically like to do my court cards for specific people. I like to try and keep them very directed towards the energy type of a person, but sometimes it does happen. All right. So we've got someone that's looking at their support people. We've got a 4 of Wands. So this is definitely about the people that help us feel secure and stable. It looks like this person's in a great spot, so I'm not sure on why they're thinking so hard on this. I'm thinking maybe they might be a newer parent, whether they recently had a child of their own or got married and have stepchildren that are throwing them for a bit of a loop. Because sometimes, you know, things do change, okay? You can have been your stepchildren through the marriage for years, but once that paper is signed, I mean, I've seen it even with the couples themselves where that paper changes things. Not necessarily good or bad ways, just the change does startle a few people, and you might now be going, oh boy, this is a real thing. What do we do? So let's use my bamboo and see how we can't help you out with that. Okay, so we got how your interaction is. Love it so far. Whoever this is, I don't even know why you're so stinking worried. I'm already seeing good things. Okay. Let's get quick and we will get trucking along with seeing how your bamboo reads out for you. Okay. I kind of see why you got some worries now. But I feel like once we get the bamboo out and we start doing this read, whoever it is that is so stinking worried about their family situation, even though you know everything is absolutely fine, I have a feeling that this is going to reassure you even more that the family that you think you have is what you really have. Just like we were talking earlier about the fear box, you might want to do a quick hit on the replay and check into that real quick, because you're about to make yourself fall on your face if you stay there. Okay, well, one of the 5 decided that we didn't need them, which is in a way a good thing, actually. Or there's a bit of missing information. But let's check you out. All right, so for a person that has family like super heavy on their mind, like we're talking, if it really does feel almost like you are either a new parent or you recently acquired a new family situation, because already off the get-go, it looks like you guys are a great team. This is how the home and resources section looks. And we've got a 3 of coins, which is telling me that
You guys are all about working together and making things sure that things are great for the whole, not just the one. So I'm very proud of you guys for that one. But over in our how you guys interact with each other, it definitely looks like, again, you guys make decisions together as a group, and that is beautiful. I'm actually super crazy proud of you because that's not a huge thing in too many families anymore. You guys are so far right on the right track. The only thing that worries me is I feel like someone more than just you is worried that things are just going to fall apart, that things are almost too good. And I definitely, as I said earlier, see why you're a little worried about everything because you feel like you don't have any authority anymore. You almost feel like you kind of gave yourself when you guys decided to combine the families into one. But the thing is based on what I see going on up here, you have nothing to worry about. You are still a very important member of the group. So maybe getting some of that fear under control that's starting to make you become just a little snippy because things are actually beautiful. Because right down here is where you guys feel alive at. And for you, that's definitely when you feel like you're in authority. And that loss of power, I really do feel is just the fear talking, not necessarily the reality. And last but not least, in your emotions and spirituality, it definitely looks like all of you are very much rooted in a realistic mindset. You guys really don't do the flowery language or anything crazy with the hints and the work and the step arounds and everything else. You guys are very straightforward and there's no nonsense in how you guys show affection and beliefs are. So I'm very proud of you for that one. Now, as far as what the bamboo is telling me, it looks almost like that reality is almost working against that teamwork. So I want to say maybe drop some of the straightforwardness and maybe bring back some of the fun and the playfulness. Because that team is starting to kind of have a bit of a blockage there where it feels almost like you guys are coexisting and working together, but it doesn't have the affection that it used to. And over here, with how these guys are looking, this is what told me that this is more of an underlying thought more than an active one, or at least not crazy, super high, crazy worry that the thing's falling apart. But you definitely want to check that underlying fear because that will, as always, cause a ripple effect. And as far as these two here, it looks almost like, along with making those great decisions for everyone, you feel almost like people are depending on you way too much. You're the strong one and everyone else is leaning, hard leaning. And while that can be a little intimidating, at the same time though, that means that they're still recognizing your authority, that they're still recognizing you as a power figure in all of this. So whoever you are,
enjoy the family that you have recently created because things are beautiful, things are wonderful. You guys just need to drop the stiffness a little bit and realize you're a family. It's good. And the only thing that changed was just some paperwork. I honestly, from the looks of everything, whoever had some small family worries while knowing everything was happy, hopefully that helped you realize all is still good. Sorry, Scammer. Still a little too busy to play right now. Yes, I'm one of those freaks. I love to play with scammers. Drives my family nuts, speaking of family. But you know what? I never got my chance to be on stage as an actress. I might as well use it with my scammers. But since we've only got about 5 minutes left, we're going to do what I love to do, which is leave you guys with a meditation card on how to start being better for yourself. Because while I do use my Goddess Guidance cards for our Saturday self-care single pull, I am a firm believer that, you know what, middle of the week, you start to run down a little bit, You need something to give you a boost. And knowing what energy to either unblock or embody sometimes gives us just the motivation we need. So let's check this out here. What do we need to get our brains and bodies ready to push through that final little bit of the week and be fabulous? Well, that was easy. And it's not bad news, okay? So forgive my face. It was just a little startling. So we have a reverse aim. Typically, her message would be take a risk and put your heart's true desire into action. Reverse, this is telling me that not so much that this energy is blocked for us, but so much as don't take the risk, follow steps slowly, carefully, and very directed. Make a plan before you take a step, because right now risks are a terrible idea. Risks are not what you need right now. You need to make a very conscious, very logical plan for making sure that you get through the rest of the week with all your digits. So help me take 10 minutes tonight. Clear your mind, chill all the things, do what I like to call a brain dump, where quite literally you clean all of the extra noise out and get yourself into a good headspace. Once you do that, ask for Lady Aim to give you a small break on the risk pushing, and ask more for Lady Mott. Lady Mott is a goddess of Egyptian background who is all about justice and logic, and she is the lady tonight that you may want to speak with to help you not only make that plan, but make sure that that plan is right. Because not only is she more about logic and justice, she's about balance. And while having a plan to get through the week is great, we want to make sure that we stay balanced for that plan, that we stay balanced to ensure that, yes, we got to the end of the week, but we're not exhausted, we're not hating life, and we still have enough of ourselves for all of the fun. But if any of this helped you out at all tonight, please leave a like, and I really do hope that all of you have a fabulous night. I'll see all of you again soon.